what would describe episode number 325 than this?
Mogambo. Joshua.
This is episode 325 on the 12th of February 2020.
Mogambo. Joshua.
Let's celebrate tonight's episode, this morning's episode, rather, on the 12th of February with this special song. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, कहाँ से आया मैं हूँ कौन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, कहाँ से आया मैं हूँ कौन. मैं हूँ कौन, मैं हूँ कौन, मैं हूँ कौन. डॉन 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 डॉन. मैं हूँ डॉन, मैं हूँ डॉन, मैं हूँ डॉन. अरे तुमने जो देखा है, सोचा है, समझा है, जाना है, वो मैं नहीं, वो मैं नहीं. लोगों की नजरों ने मुझको यहाँ जो भी माना है, वो मैं नहीं, वो मैं नहीं. आवारा बादल को, सौदाई बादल को दुनिया में समझा है कौन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, जरा पहचानो, मैं हूँ डॉन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, जरा पहचानो, मैं हूँ डॉन. अरे यारों का वो यार हूँ, यारी में जान लुटा दे जो, मैं हूँ वही, मैं हूँ वही. दुश्मन का हूँ, दुश्मन का दुश्मन हूँ वो, दुश्मन के छक्के छुड़ा दे जो, मैं हूँ वही, मैं हूँ वही. तुम जानो ना जानो, मैंने तो जाना है, महफिल में कैसा है कौन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, जरा पहचानो, मैं हूँ डॉन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, जरा पहचानो, मैं हूँ डॉन. अरे मैंने क्या सोचा है, क्या ख्वाब है मेरी आंखों में, तुम जानो ना, तुम जानो ना. मैंने भी बदला है क्या रंग बातों ही बातों में, तुम जानो ना. चेहरे पे चेहरा है, पर्दे पे पर्दा है, दुनिया में समझा है कौन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, जरा पहचानो, मैं हूँ डॉन. अरे दीवानो मुझे पहचानो, जरा पहचानो, मैं हूँ डॉन. मैं हूँ डॉन, मैं हूँ डॉन, मैं हूँ डॉन.
Talk Show, the weekly show with Aditya.
If the news were to spread that Jofra Archer is not playing tomorrow, what would be the reactions of the Indian team?
Mogambo. Joshua.
Let's continue. So the news is that Jofra Archer has injured his elbow and he won't be available for the second test match starting at the MCG or the Chepauk, the Gaba of the Indian team. Now let's just analyze this minutely. What should be the playing 11 for tomorrow? And the playing 11 that I decide is the playing 11 that should play, whether it happens or not. No other pseudo expert, especially my greatest rivals, playing 11 can ever be considered. So what would be my playing 11? I would go with Rahul and Gill, give Rohit a rest, Pujara, Kohli and Rahane, or even give a chance to Mayank Agarwal. So Rahul, Gill, Pujara, Kohli, Agarwal, Pant. Tell Hardik Pandya you are going to be in the team means you have to bowl. But there's a caveat. Just like Ben Stokes would bowl 3 or 4 overs, then take a break for 3 hours, similarly, Pandya would also bowl for 3 or 4 overs and then get a break. So number 6 would be Rishabh Pant and number 7 would be Hardik Pandya. Then come the spinners. Now the spinners choice is quite interesting. There's Kuldeep Yadav, a semi-all-rounder. Nadeem would not play. Akshar Patel, Ashwin and Washington. Out of which 2 spinners and 3 fast bowlers. But the issue is that if Pandya plays and he can't bowl, I would want Pandya to play. And I would put Pandya at 6 or 7 depending on the situation and on how this entire thing pans out. In fact, I would push Pant to number 5, Agarwal to number 6 and Pandya to number 7. That leaves 8, 9, 10, 11, which means 2 fast bowlers and 2 spinners, out of which I would go with Washington. Sundar would unfortunately miss out, which I don't like. But if we are going, I would go with Ashwin and Akshar Patel along with Pandya, Ishant Sharma and Bumrah. This is the team for tomorrow. There would be a lot of permutation, combinations. The perception would be let's play Kuldeep Yadav because there would be two spinners. There would be an off spinner, a left arm spinner, and a leg spinner. That would be the choice. But I would want to go with Pandya. Should I rest Rahane? Maybe give Rahane a break. He's been playing a long time, so let's give him a break. Not dropped. And of course, a few pseudo experts will have their own clamor on the idea of rotation policy, but these individuals should not be even heard. So forget these pseudo experts. Let's just go with this team. So let's repeat the team one more time, controversial as it may be. This is the best 11. Yes, a few legends like Rohit, Rahane would miss out, but it's about giving a chance to all the 30 players selected. So Rahul, Gill, Pujara, Kohli, Agarwal, Pant, Pandya, Ashwin, Aksar, or Ashwin or Kuldeep Yadav, depending on, because we have Pandya as the all-rounder, so we can afford to go with Kuldeep Yadav. Then Sharma and Bumrah. So let's look at the team again. Opening Rahul and Gill. Number 3 Pujara. Number 4 Kohli. Number 5 Agarwal. Number 6 Pant. Number 7 Pandya. Number 8 Ashwin. Number 9 Kuldeep Yadav. Number 10 Ishant Sharma or Siraj, but Ishant Sharma is nearing his 100th match, and Bumrah or Siraj. But remember, Siraj will get a chance going further, and I'm fine. This is a perfect team. A few pseudo experts, especially my greatest rival who shall not be named, will have a different context to it. I don't think the loss which happened 4 days ago is anything to worry about. It was just a fluke. It happened. There's no need to panic. It happens. These things happen, but this is a good team. Controversial, but my team selection won't be what the coach and the captain and the team management want, because remember, no Josh Butler, no Jofra Archer, and what would be the reaction if these two are not playing?
Mogambo. Joshua.
I'm suppose Kohli would remember this dialogue for the rest of his life. Let's go further. Why these players? Why Rahul instead of Rohit? Well, why not? Rohit has been playing for a while, and it's not that he hasn't made runs. It's just trying out different combination. There's nothing wrong. Remember, Zach Crawley comes back, which means Dan Lawrence misses out. Ben Foakes comes in, even Johnny Bairstow will get a chance. And if Johnny Bairstow gets a chance, what will the English team say?
Mogambo. Joshua.
Let's get back. What will be the England playing 11? I do not know. Is this the best playing 11? But it's not about the best. Now let me give you some examples. I was seeing some old matches from 1980s, and I was seeing how the commentators were expressing their ideas. They never said things like white ball cricket or leg spinners or wrist. They used those words, but not in a demeaning manner. That it was an old match between India and England. At that time, the color of their jersey was so close you wouldn't know who is an English player or who is an Indian player. At that time, even that commentary team, which consisted of Bill Lawry, the best in the world, Ravi Shastri was still a player, so he wasn't, and Gavaskar were still players in 1984, so they were never in that commentary box, though Gavaskar doesn't come as a good commentator, but that's a different discussion. The best commentators, not a single Indian commentator, because nobody No Indian commentator comes in my mind before Ravi Shastri, before he began his career in 94. But there also catches were dropped. Simple catches, wicket keeping, stumping chances. And then those same individuals who were dropping catches, who are now all either selectors or coaches or commentators, when they see catches being dropped today, never do they say that no, we dropped catches. We understand that yes, catches can be dropped. So I think it's like a viral fever. In 1995, there were a group of commentators which consisted of Richie Beno, Tony Gregg, Bill Lorby. Even they said catches dropped, which means they did not understand. Once you become a commentator, ego takes over and you never even admit that no, we also dropped catches. But never did those commentators ever say modern day cricket or those shots, or yes, they said the team is going slow, which is understandable. Let's be clear about that. But those commentators were less demeaning than the commentators over the past 3 to 4 years. When a Tony Gregg says it's a good shot and the catch should be taken, you listen to this guy. When a Ravi Shastri says it's poor piece of fielding, you listen to him. But when individuals who have never played more than 7, 8 matches, naming them is also an insult to this program. When they say the catch should be taken, you don't listen to them. That's the big difference. But before we go further discussing what can improve for tomorrow's match, let's take a short break. Welcome back to a grand episode. It's episode number 325. So, how do we celebrate this?
Movembo. Joshua.
So, welcome back. Let's carry on this discussion about the performance of the team which is expected. Of course, a World Test Cup final or the World Test Championship final is at stake. The rankings in which India slipped to number 4 is also a matter of concern. Maybe, maybe not. Let's not get too carried away by such frivolities such as rankings or whatever be the thing. The match, referring to the match I was not watching for the quality of the sport. For me, nothing has changed. Not the quality of the grounds. Yes, 6s and 4s are now becoming more and more evident, but never did the commentators once even scoff how 50 overs has made the players corrupt. They are no longer defending. In fact, they said, no, it's 50 overs, play like 50 overs. But never did they ever say white ball, red ball, pink ball, blue ball, never ever. Catches were dropped, yes. In that match, this so-called legendary player dropped a catch. A couple of stumping chances were missed, but never did the broadcasters have a graphic on that line, catches dropped on 40 or whatever. But now even the broadcasters insult the players by repeating those things. And this time Mogambo खुश नहीं हुआ. But if India wins the toss, what will be the reaction?
Mogambo खुश हुआ.
Let's get back. Of course, toss was a factor. I disagree, toss is not an important factor. Yes, you win the toss, you bat first, you make 500 runs, and then you defend that score. That's going to be very important. With no Josh Butler and no Jofra Archer, Stuart Broad comes in, and of course, there is this craze about Jimmy Anderson. But let me tell you, Ishant Sharma will break the record of 600 wickets. Are you shocked? Is he the last of that? No. Ishant Sharma will break the record of 600 wickets.
Mogambo खुश हुआ.
Let's get back. Anyways, it's a very important episode. It's the 325th episode, the first milestone episode of 2021, which means many more milestone episodes to come.
Mogambo खुश हुआ.
Many more milestone episodes to be achieved this year. This is just the beginning of the greatest talk show on the planet, India's only digital radio talk show. Let's take a small break and go further and talk about what all is expected of the team, with all the fanatics and all the pseudo critics and the pseudo experts expecting more than they should. Welcome back after the break. This was the final break of episode number 325 on the 12th of February 2021.
Mogambo खुश हुआ.
Let's end this beautiful episode number 325, with this special reading section.
Mogambo खुश हुआ.
With this special reading section from the Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle, Chapter 1, The Adventure of the Silver Blaze. That is the case as it appears to the police, and improbable as it is, all other explanations are more improbable still. However, I shall very quickly test the matter when I am once upon the spot, and until then I cannot really see how we can get much further than our present position. However, I shall very quickly test the matter when I am once upon the spot, and until then I cannot really see how we can get much further than our present position. It was evening before we reached the little town of Tavistock, which lies like the boss of a shield in the middle of the huge circle of Dartmoor. Two gentlemen were awaiting us in the station. The one, a tall, fair man with lion-like hair and beard and curiously penetrating light blue eyes. The other, a small, alert person, very neat and dapper, in a frock coat and gaiters with trim little side whiskers and an eyeglass. The latter was Colonel Ross, the well known sportsman, the other Inspector Gregory, a man who was rapidly making his name in the English detective service. I am delighted that you have come down, Mr. Holmes, said the colonel. The inspector here has done all that could possibly be suggested, but I wish to leave no stone unturned in trying to avenge poor Straker and in recovering my horse. Have there been any fresh developments? Asked Holmes. I am sorry to say that we have made very little progress, said the inspector. We have an open carriage outside, and as you would no doubt like to see the place before the light fails, we might talk it over as we drive. A minute later, we were all seated in a comfortable landau and were rattling along the quaint old Devonshire city. Inspector Gregory was full of his case and poured out a stream of remarks, while Holmes threw in an occasional question or interjection. Colonel Ross leaned back with his arms folded and his hat tilted over his eyes, while I listened with interest to the dialogue of the two detectives. Gregory was formulating his theory, which was almost exactly what Holmes had foretold in the train. This ends episode number 325 on the 12th of February 2021.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show with Aditya. For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show with Aditya.